Hey guys, this is Abhishek from gadgetstudios.com, and today we are going to do a quick comparison review in between these two phones. We have the Xiaomi Redmi 2, which is the latest version of Redmi phone from Xiaomi, and this is the successor to Redmi 1S, which we have seen earlier. And we have the Moto E second generation, and this is not the 3G version, this is the 4G version which I have with me, and I'm going to compare these two phones on the basis of the kind of build quality, form factor, and what kind of value for money you get actually on these two phones when you buy them in India. Again, the 4G version of the Moto E is not yet available in India, but it is coming very soon. Within a month you will see coming this phone on Flipkart, and you can buy this. As far as the price difference is concerned, the 4G version of Moto E second generation will cost you approximately 1 to 2,000 rupees more as compared to the price which you are paying as of now for the 3G version. So we have already compared the Moto E second gen 3G version with the Xiaomi Redmi 2, but today we are going to compare the 4G version, which is actually a better comparison because the 4G version has the same hardware inside which we see on the Xiaomi Redmi 2, which is Snapdragon 4110. So we have Snapdragon 4110 on both the phones which we have with us. So this is actually a better comparison definitely as compared to the Moto E second generation 3G version, which actually has Snapdragon 200, with which we have already compared this phone. So talking about the box is going to look like this as we see on the Moto E second gen, and again the box contents will remain the same. This is the 3G version box of the second gen Moto E, and it will have a charger like this, and you will get these headphones within the package as well. And these are the things you will get within the package with some user manuals with the 4G version of Moto E as well. So this is the package content for the Moto E second gen 4G version. And when it comes to the Xiaomi Redmi 2 is coming with 4G connectivity already, and this device actually has the user manuals over there, and then you get a charger and a micro USB cable. You do not get headphones within the package of the Xiaomi Redmi 2, but again the headphones which are supplied even with the Moto E second gen are going to be very standard quality. They are not too great, and I would rather recommend you to use a third-party one, but it is good always to have something rather than to not have it. So these are the headphones which you will get within the package, and you will not get any headphones within the package of the Redmi 2. So let me just keep the packaging aside for a while, and we will take a look over the phones, which is the Xiaomi Redmi 2 and the Moto E second gen 4G version which we have with us. Again, this is something which I got from Spain, Barcelona. I had a meeting with Rick Osterloh, which is the CEO of Motorola, and he actually gave me this phone. So this is the 4G version of Moto E second generation, and this is now going to be a pretty good fight in between these two phones because they have the same hardware. Now talking about these two phones, the major difference which you can see in between them is going to be on the basis of display size and the overall dimension for the phone. So this phone is going to be smaller because of smaller display size, and it is 4.5 inch of display as compared to the 4.7 inch of display which is there on the Redmi 2. And you can actually see the difference over there. There is a very minimal difference as far as the display size is concerned, but if you take a look over the phone is definitely bigger but not heavier like the Moto E second gen 4G version. So this phone is lighter as compared to Moto E. In terms of thickness comparison, you can see that the difference is also there. We do see the thickness of the Redmi 2 which is less than the second gen Moto E 4G version, which is the case, and the Moto E second gen 4G version is also lighter. It is also thicker. So this one is thicker because it has curved edges and it goes pretty thick over here in the middle as compared to this one, which is almost the same. There is a slight amount of camera bulge, very small amount of camera bulge, but it is not something which will get any scratches if you place it like this on a table. They have designed it like this that it won't get scratches easily. And the back side is again made up of matte finish plastic back cover, which is again made up of good quality of plastic. It is not very thin plastic. I would say it is good enough for a phone like this. We have the battery which is not removable. So the battery is removable on this phone as compared to the Moto E 4G version, which do have a battery inside, but the battery is non-removable. This is a unibody phone, so the battery cannot come out. And in terms of the battery rating, this is 2390 milliampere battery, and this is 2200 milliampere battery. So the battery is slightly less over there, but it is not a major difference. You will get approximately 1 day or more than 1 day battery backup on both of them. Talking about the rear camera is definitely better over here on the Redmi 2, which is an 8 megapixel camera over there. It is an autofocus camera, can record high definition video in 720p, and it can also record high definition video in 1080p, which is a difference over there as compared to the 5 megapixel autofocus camera which we have on the second gen Moto E, which can record high definition video but only at 720p, not at 1080p. We have a secondary microphone for noise cancellation in both of these phones, which you can see over there. We do have an LED flash as well on the Redmi 2, but we do not have it on the Moto E second gen. The loudspeaker is over there, whereas the loudspeaker on this device is actually at the front, which is actually a better design, because when you play a video and you place the device like this flat on a table, the sound will get muffled, but the same will not happen over here. And when you place this device like this on a table, the sound will not get muffled because the loudspeaker is actually at the position where you actually have the earpiece. When it comes to the front has the metallic earpiece over there, and then we have a pretty good earpiece over there as well on the Moto E. We have a pretty good 2 megapixel camera at the front, but we have a VGA camera over here on the Moto E 4G version as well. So camera wise, this device is definitely better, and we will show you the results as well, the exact real-time results, so that you can make out the difference on your own as well. When it comes to the touch capacitor buttons, they are within the display, so which is actually a compromise which Motorola has done with this one. However, there is not much space over here, so they might have done that because of the low space or less space. And when it comes to the touch capacitor buttons which are there on the Redmi 2, they are within the body of the phone, and they do have LED notification light, and LED notification light is actually over here on this one, whereas the Redmi 2 has LED notification light below the home button. Talking about the connectivity, this phone has 4G connectivity. This phone also has 4G connectivity because we are comparing the Redmi 2 with the 4G version of Moto E second gen. And again, this phone actually has SIM card slot, which is only one. However, the 4G version which will come to India, as per the information which we have got from Motorola, so the 4G version which will come to India will have two SIM card slots like this, just like you see on the 3G variant, and you also have a micro SD memory card to expand the storage. However, we are not sure whether both the slots will support 4G, but if we talk about the Redmi 2, the Redmi 2 has two SIM card slots, and both of them are 4G ready. And talking about the micro SD memory card slot, you have that on this phone as well. So in terms of memory expansion, both of them are pretty good. And when it comes to installing applications on the SD card, we will just confirm you whether you can install applications on the SD card on any of these two. So in terms of build quality, I would like to say Motorola Moto E second gen actually wins here, because this feels solid and this feels much better when you hold it in hand, but it is also heavier as compared to the lighter form factor, and the build quality is good on both of them, but slightly better over here, especially in case you basically drop this phone from waist height or from shoulder height. Again, we do have glass protection on this one, which is Dragon Trail glass protection, which will not get any scratches very easily, and this device also have Corning Gorilla Glass. So both of them have pretty good protection on the front so that you don't see any scratches, but the display size is bigger over here in case you prefer a bigger display size phone. Talking about the UI which is running on top of Android is again very much close to pure Android. You have Android Lollipop 5.0.2 on the Moto E second generation 4G version, and on this device you have KitKat, but there is a custom UI which runs on top of Android, and it is very fluid. It is one of the best custom UI you can get on a phone like this, which is going to be very smooth and fluid, and I did not face any issues with the Redmi 2 in day-to-day usage. And if I compare it with this one is kind of more smoother, I would say, maybe because of Android Lollipop, the kind of animations and the kind of effects you see. You have Android Lollipop on this one and you have Android KitKat on this one, but the custom UI does compensate for that, because the custom UI which runs on top of Android is the MIUI 6, which is the latest UI from Xiaomi, and it has a lot of options and other features which will make you happy over time. Talking about settings, let's take a look over the settings on these two phones, and we will find out the exact version of Android and the storage scenario as well. So we have about over here, about phone, and we go to about phone over here as well. So we have Android Lollipop 5.0.2 on this phone, which you can see over there, and we have Android KitKat 4.4.4. So talking about the hardware inside, the hardware this time is same, because this is Snapdragon 410, this is Snapdragon 410. So you have 1.2 GHz processor on both of them. Now here we have the storage information for both of these phones. On this device you get available storage of 5 GB out of 8. So 5 GB is available on this device, and as of now the available is 4.54 GB which you will get on this phone, as compared to this one which will give you an available storage of 5.75 GB, which is slightly more, but the exact storage available on both of them when it comes to the user available storage is going to be slightly less over here. It is going to be approximately 4.2 to 4 GB, whereas this device will give you 4.54 GB. So they are very comparable in terms of storage, almost very near to each other. Let's take a look over the application scenario and we will find out whether you can actually move applications from the phone memory to the SD card. So let me just take a look over the application scenario over there. Now taking a look over the application scenario, one thing which I can say is that you can see the current status of the RAM on this device, which is approximately 529 MB of RAM, which is free out of 1 GB. You also have 1 GB of RAM on this one, but there is no way to find out the available amount of RAM available to the user on this device with the default things, but we can actually find it out with the help of the CPU-Z application which we have installed. So on this device, if we take a look over the system information, we find out the current status of the RAM. So as of now we can see that the total RAM available on this device out of 1 GB is 898 MB, and available amount of RAM is 136 MB only. So available amount of RAM is low because we have used this device slightly more, but you will get around 400 MB of available RAM out of 1 GB to the user, and you will get slightly more RAM, around 500 MB of RAM you will get on this one. Let's take a look over some more things like moving application to the SD card. So we do have SD card support on both of these phones, but moving application to the SD card is not possible on the Redmi 2. So on Redmi 2 you cannot move applications to the SD card. However, some part of that application data will be there on the SD card if you actually install it, but that is something which you cannot control on your own. On this device you can move certain application from the phone memory to the SD card, but again over here you cannot actually move complete application from the phone memory to the SD card. So in case you are planning to install some high definition games, then you won't be able to install much games. 1 or 2 is something which you might be able to install on this one. Let's check out the camera on both of these phones, as we already know that we have a bigger camera over there, but let's find out the actual clarity. We have a small action figure of one of the football player. He is one of the popular football player over there. As you can see his name at the back side, and I can place him over here. Okay, now it is in the perfect position. Let me just take a photo from the Moto E 4G variant, and let me just take the same photo without light. And before I do that, let me just take the same photo from the Xiaomi Redmi 2. So we have taken the photo with light from both of these. Let me just disable the artificial light and take this photo again. This is going to be a different scenario now this time. So we have taken the photo from this one. Now let me just take from this one as well. Let me just give it some time to focus, because the Moto E 2nd Gen 4G variant does not have tap to focus, and same goes for the 3G variant as well. So it will autofocus and you cannot tap on the screen to focus. You can always tap on the screen to take the photo. So let me show you both of these photos one by one, and then you can find out the differences in between these two devices as far as the rear camera quality is concerned, and then we will take a look over the front camera quality. So we have the photo taken from both of them. This is how it looks like on the Moto E 4G variant. Especially this photo is the one which has been taken without artificial light. This one is looking white, I would say, whereas this one is looking slightly yellowish. So color production is something which has not been done properly on this one, especially with the low light shot as compared to what you see. Even when you actually take a closer look, you will see details are not that clear on the Moto E, but they are actually better over here on the Redmi 2. Especially the photo which has been captured in low light, details are better over here as compared to what you see on Moto E, and this is how the original subject is. And I would say this thing, the color over here are much more original and kind of closer to what we see as of now as compared to the kind of colors it has reproduced. So let me just show you the other photo, which is going to be the one which has been taken with light. and we are going to show the same photo over here which has been taken with light on this one. So over here, if you take a look on this photo, this is the one which has been taken with light, and this is how it looks. Again, the color production is something which is not very perfect over here as compared to what you see on Moto E. So this one is looking good, this one is also looking good, but definitely there is a color shift happening for some reason. This is how the original subject is, and the photo is looking much clearer over here. I would say details are much better captured on this one as compared to what you see. Especially you will see a lot of noise over here as compared to what you see on the Redmi 2 as far as the rear camera is concerned, but colors are definitely better reproduced on the Moto E as compared to Redmi 2. Let me just take a photo from the front camera as well, and then we will find out the quality difference in between the front camera photo which you can take from the Moto E 2nd gen. So let me just take a photo. Let me just take the same photo again from the Redmi 2, and it also tells you the age. So I've taken both of these photos and I can show you both of them one by one, and this is the one which I have taken from the Moto E 2nd generation, and this is Redmi 2. And let me just show you both of these photos. Yeah, so over here you can see the difference. The photo has came out to be good, I would say, on the Moto E, but it has came out to be much clear, and slight amount of beautification is also there on the Redmi 2 as compared to what you see over there. This is definitely looking slightly better, and in terms of color production this time it is better as compared to what we see over here. So front camera is definitely better on the Redmi 2. The rear camera is also better on the Redmi 2, especially in terms of details, but in terms of handling colors I do not see good amount of colors being produced. I would say the quality of color production on this one, especially from the rear camera, is actually not good in comparison, but overall it is not bad. Now when it comes to the display clarity, the kind of video output you get on both of these phones, and how loud is the loudspeaker on both of them, let's play a high definition video. And we are playing this high definition video from our YouTube video channel. This is the same video. Both of these devices are connected to the same Wi-Fi network, and we will play this video on both of them one by one. Let me just play it on the Moto E 4G variant as of now. So this is how it looks, and if you take a look over the viewing angles are good. It is not looking bad. So if you take a look at it from this angle, it is looking good. You can see this video. You can also see the video from this angle as well. So the video is looking good from both the angles. However, there is a color shift happening. There's slight amount of discoloration which happens when you take a look from this angle or from this angle. But if you talk about the Redmi 2, let's take a look over here as well. Now when we play the same video on the Redmi 2, this one is looking pretty good. The viewing angles are also good. I do not see the color shift happening on this display, which is definitely a better thing as compared to what you see on the Moto E 2nd generation 4G variant. And again, this video is getting played at what resolution? Let me find it out. So this is getting played at 720p automatically, which is high definition. And if I talk about this one is getting played at 240p. I don't know for what reason, and I cannot toggle to 720p on this one. So when you play a high definition video on the Moto E through the YouTube application, you cannot play them on the 720p resolution, which is definitely a bad thing. And this device even has a bigger display, which is very much visible, and I would say better in terms of colors when you take a look at it from different angles, especially while watching a video like this. So if you watch a video and you take a look over the viewing angles are actually better over here, and the color shift is not happening on the laminated IPS LCD display of the Redmi 2 as compared to Moto E. So the display clarity is definitely better, and the video playback is also full HD supported on this one as compared to this is QHD. So this is QHD. When you play a video, the video will not get played in the 720p resolution, especially when you are playing it from the YouTube channel. But if you have a 720p video, that video can be played as a file, but over here we have 720p resolution, which is definitely a better thing as compared to Moto E in case. So that's all from us as far as the quick hands-on comparison review of these two phones. Some of the things which are good on the Redmi 2 is going to be the rear camera. Although the color protection is not something which I like on the rear camera, but details are definitely better on the Redmi 2. Talking about the display clarity is definitely better on Redmi 2 as compared to Moto E. This is Full HD, this is QHD, and the display size is also bigger. So display size is bigger, camera is also bigger, and when we talk about the front camera quality is also better on Redmi 2 as compared to the Moto E second generation. So in this particular fight, I would like to tell you that there are some more good points on the Redmi 2 as compared to Moto E second generation 4G variant, even when we compare. So this one actually wins on the basis of camera in terms of details, maybe not in terms of the color protection. It also wins in the department of display size. The display size is bigger, the display clarity is also better over here, so that is also good. Storage remains the same, RAM remains the same, hardware remains the same, and the front camera over here is also better. So there are three major reasons on the basis of which I would say the Redmi 2 is better than the Moto E second generation 4G variant, even when they have the same hardware. And this device, in terms of good points, I would say this one wins on the basis of the software experience. Software experience is pretty fluid over there, but you do not get Android Lollipop on this one, but you will get it later. On this one you have Android Lollipop coming pre-installed. The UI is much more smoother over here as compared to what you see on Redmi 2, even when it is custom UI, which is very smooth, but not as smooth as this is when we talk about the overall user experience. And when it comes to lag and the certain amount of lag which you might see when you launch application, you will see that more over here as compared to this device, especially the 4G variant of the Moto E second generation. Now, concluding this comparison review, there are some good points about the Redmi 2, which includes the lighter weight. This one also have a better front camera, that makes 2, and this one also have a higher megapixel rear camera, and details are better over here as compared to this device. This one has autofocus and high definition video recording at 1080p as well as at 720p. And when it comes to the display size, the display size is also bigger over here, and display clarity is also better. Talking about the good points of the Moto E second generation 4G variant which we have with us, this one is good in terms of the overall UI response. So we have the newer version of Android on this device, which is a plus. So you get Android Lollipop on this one, whereas we have Android KitKat and a custom UI which runs on top of Android. When it comes to the UI responsiveness, UI is very responsive over here. I do not see any major lag, but if you compare it with the Moto E second generation 4G variant, this is much more smoother in terms of the overall UI response as compared to the Redmi 2. So these are the good points over there, especially software wise it is going to be a smoother phone. And when it comes to long-term usage, both of them are durable enough, so both of them can be used for long-term usage, and they will not give you any major issues when you would like to use these phones for around 1 or 2 years. So that's all from us as far as the quick hands-on comparison between these two phones. Thanks for watching this video. In case this video helped you, you can always click the like button below. You can also subscribe to our YouTube video channel for more videos like this by clicking the subscribe button below. Thanks for watching this video. This is Abhishek signing off. Thank you.